All right, guys. So one of my favorite earbuds, and one that I think is one of the most underrated earbuds since all of earbuds have come out, is the JLAB Epic Lab Edition. It was one of those I definitely did not expect. Came in with a dual hybrid driver system, had impressive noise canceling. It even had a USB-C dongle if you didn't want to rely on Bluetooth, but it did come in at $200. But when I saw that JLAB has released the Epic Pods ANC, which is the pair that we're going to check out today, it also has that dual driver hybrid system. It has LDAC playback. It even has some other very impressive features, which we're going to talk about, but it only comes in at $99. So it comes in at half the cost of the Epic Labs edition. And so it just had me curious. How did these stand up against the Epic Lab edition? Is it worth the $100? And could this be a pair that, again, kind of makes it look like it's silly to pay the price tag of the AirPod Pros? So right off the bat, I am going to point out that this pair does not have that USB-C dongle that came with the Epic Labs edition. That is something I would have liked to have seen in here, because I do like to kind of use my phone or tablet or whatever for different types of media other than music. So having that dongle just always assured me I didn't have to worry about any kind of latency. But I will say this pair does have Bluetooth 6.1. So, latency is very, very little, if any, in most cases. It does support multi-point, which is a huge plus. And this pair is also high-res wireless certified because it does have LDAC playback. But I am going to go back to the dual driver hybrid system. So this one is using a 10mm dynamic driver mixed with Knowles balanced armature driver. And a huge thing about this is Knowles also has its own tuning within JLAB's app. So on top of having like JLAB's signature sound, which is the way that it comes out of the box, you can switch it to the Knowles preferred tuning. So it kind of has Knowles tune these the way they would like you to hear, I guess, their drivers. There's also, I think, one or two other pre-built EQ settings, or you could just kind of customize the EQ settings the way that you want. But moving over to looking at the design and the build and all of the case and the earbuds, case is pretty small. It's very compact. You can see JLab's logo and JLab up top. The case is Qi wireless charging certified, so you don't have to use a normal charging cable. You can just sit this on any wireless charger. The earbuds do have the stem style design, which I am not the biggest fan of. I actually do prefer the looks of the Epic Lab edition because it just looks like a normal pair of earbuds. But the cool thing here on the stem is you have both touch controls and a physical button. So if you don't want to use touch controls, if you're somebody that accidentally touches your earbuds and it does something you don't want it to do, you can actually go into the app and shut off the touch controls and just have it where you rely only on the physical button that's located on the stem. And I like this because it just gives you the choice of how you want to control your earbuds. And I am happy to say that you do get control over everything, but you can go within the app and switch some things around if you do want to do that as well. Another huge plus on the earbuds is they also have smart sensors. So if you do take them out of your ears, it will just pause. If you put them back in, it just goes back to what you were listening to. And in a pair that's $99 mixed with all of the other features that you're getting, I found this to be pretty impressive. Some other features is it does have spatial audio. Within the app, you can switch if you want spatial audio for music or for movies. And this, again, it's just something with music I am not going to use. I think it adds a weird effect. But for movies and TV shows, the spatial audio worked quite well. And another thing that you can do within the app is switch it between the different listening modes that you have. You have obviously the noise canceling on because this pair does have noise canceling. It has noise canceling off. You have a transparency mode. And at this point, let's just go ahead and talk about the noise canceling, because this is another area I was very impressed with. Now, I did say we're going to see how these kind of stack up against the AirPod Pros, which are definitely known for their noise canceling. And I'm not going to say that the Epic Pods ANC are in that category. They're not in that realm with the AirPod Pros, but the noise canceling is very effective. It actually does a good job, not only against like lower tones like engine noises, AC units, things like that. It really does do a good job of blocking out higher tones, so people talking or car horns. So I was impressed with the noise canceling that these had. You just kind of have to not expect this to have the noise canceling of Sony, Bose, or the AirPod Pros. And then when it comes to the transparency mode, this is another area I was pretty surprised with. I felt like it did a really good job of just kind of pulling in my surroundings. It's very easy to talk to people and never feel like you need to take the earbuds out. So definitely a good job here with the transparency mode and the ANC. Now, if you are going to use these outdoors, they do come in with an IP55 rating. So on top of having some pretty good water protection, you're also getting some dust protection here as well. As far as what comes inside the box, it does come with 6 sets of silicone ear tips, but there's 2 different styles. Now, I did find that the one that was on it out of the box, I felt like kind of lacked some punch. I felt like it was lacking bass, but then when I switched it over to the ear tip that they're labeling the sealed fit, that right there definitely brought out the low end, which we'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to the sound. Now, as far as anything else in the box, surprisingly, it doesn't come with a USB-C cable. But like I said at the top of the video, it does support Qi wireless charging, so you don't actually need a USB-C cable to charge these. But speaking of the charging, battery life is very impressive on this pair, especially if you use it with the noise canceling off and the LDAC off. You can get about 13-14 hours on the earbuds themselves and about 60 hours total using the case. But even with using the noise canceling on, you're still going to get about 10 hours on the earbuds and about 50 hours using the case. Now, if you are going to use LDAC, it is going to pull it down even more. But if you do happen to pick the earbuds up and there's no battery life on them at all, this pair also has a very good fast charging feature where a 10-minute charge will get you 3 hours of use. Now, I did see where it said 10 minutes will give you 5 hours on their Amazon page, but definitely not the case here, and I don't know if mainly because I use these in noise canceling, but 10 minutes giving you 3 hours is still very impressive. Now, if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, they are using MEMS microphones, and they are doing a very good job of picking up my voice, especially very clear, at least in my opinion, and also blocking out a lot of my surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a quick test here.
So here is a mic test using the Epic Pods ANC. I am outdoors on a fairly windy day. There is some noise off to the side, but this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call public.
So now let's talk about the sound. And honestly, these are just fantastic. There's something that they're doing, something in the tuning, and it doesn't matter which EQ setting that you use. They are so detailed. They're so clear. They're so clean. The mids, the treble, everything stands out extremely well. Vocalists sound fantastic on these pairs. Same with different acoustic instruments. I will say, if you're going to listen to them at louder volumes, that the treble can have a sibilant sound at times, where the crash of the cymbals can be a little much if you're listening to them very loud. But for me, I found that if I listened to them in the bass boost mode, or if I custom EQ'd them and dialed down the treble a little bit, this definitely took care of that. But the signature sound and the Knowles preferred tuning or EQ setting is definitely going to have that sibilance sound when it comes to S's and things like that if you listen to them pretty loud. So do keep that in mind. But the way that I preferred to listen to these is with the bass boost mode or the signature sound mode, and with the ANC on. It just felt like that kind of balanced things out pretty well. It allowed me to have a pretty punchy low end, even slightly aggressive at times, but it's definitely something that blends well with the higher treble that it has. So it is definitely an in-your-face sound, but it still kind of leans towards more on the clarity side. I think that's what makes this pair stand out amongst all the other earbuds that have the typical U-shaped tuning. But another thing that makes these stand out, and another thing I didn't really expect, is the soundstage and the sound imaging to be as impressive as it is, because this is definitely one of those pairs that makes you feel like you're in a really large room, and I never had any issue being able to tell where different sounds were coming from. So my overall opinion on these is this. Yes, I do wish this was just a normal earbud style earbud, and yes, I do wish that this pair had that USB-C dongle. But in that case, I could just go buy the Epic Lab Edition earbuds if that's what I'm looking for. But for a stem style design earbud that still has LDAC playback and has honestly some of the best battery life that I've seen on a pair of true wireless earbuds, and has the tuning that these have, and to be able to get them at $100, I think JLAB definitely has a winner here. This is one of those, again, that just kind of caught me off guard. It surprised me, and this is a hell of a pair of earbuds that I definitely recommend a lot of you guys check out. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new JLAB Epic Pods ANC. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.